We're standing here in the history painting section of the exhibition. What is history painting? Well, in the 18th century, it was a scene usually derived from classical or ancient history or the Bible. But there was an American artist, Benjamin West, whose work you see here, who was born in Pennsylvania, but then traveled to London and became the painter to King George, the King of England. And this painting here, Penn's Treaty with the Indians, was one of the first contemporary history paintings ever created. Now, when we say contemporary, that's a little misleading because Benjamin West was not there in the 1600s when William Penn made his deal with the Lenape band of Native Americans. This was painted over 100 years after the events that created Pennsylvania as we know it today. So we think of this, because of its very academic and realistic style, as a realistic representation of history. But what's really important with this show is I've paired it with other works of art that help you to see that history painting is in the eye of the beholder and the hand of the artist. So the other works we have here in this section are works by Horace Pippin, showing John Brown going to his hanging. Now that's a local Virginia hero or activist, depending on your perspective, but Horace Pippin is a self-taught Black artist from Pennsylvania who was a veteran who, as he was training himself to recover from World War I, started painting. And so he's looking back to the events of the Civil War to create this scene of John Brown going to his hanging. Likewise, Janet Sobel is creating an amazing abstract painting during the Second World War. Janet Sobel's family immigrated to the United States from Ukraine when her father was killed during a pogrom and with a Russian invasion of Ukraine. And she's painting this painting, which is called Invasion Day, in the lead up to the end of the Second World War. Now, her family fled the Ukraine to come to the United States. Then in the Second World War, her family, other relatives, Jews in what is now Ukraine were being persecuted. And so she's thinking very personally about the end of the war, and she's created a history painting that comes from a personal place and is very abstract. But when you know the story, when you know how everyone's hoping for the end of the war, it's very effective. Also behind me is a beautiful religious painting by Henry Ossawa Tanner, one of the first leading African-American artists in the United States to have an international reputation. This painting was painted in Jerusalem in the late 19th century, and it's a scene of Nicodemus talking to Christ. And what is beautiful about this is what Henry Tanner is doing is he's taking his own deep personal faith and infusing it with modernist, almost impressionist painting techniques into a biblical scene that brings his personal, deeply held AME faith into the construction of it. But he's doing it while studying in Jerusalem. So all of these paintings are history paintings, but infused with the personal and political hand of the artist who created them.